The Blessed Daily Life of the Su family's legitimate daughter. Chapter 1. I'm happy being the fool. When Su Miao awoke, her head felt heavy and dull, as if filled with lead. A soft female voice reached her ears. Is Miss Yao awake? Quickly drink this medicine. You'll feel better after. She blinked, the intricately carved canopy of an unfamiliar bed coming into view. An embroidered brocade quilt with intertwining lotus patterns covered her, and the faint scents of medicinal herbs and face powder lingered in the air. Before she could process her surroundings, a flood of memories that did not belong to her surged into her mind. The original owner was also named Su Muyao, the legitimate eldest daughter of Su Hongyuan, a wealthy merchant in Yangzhou City. A high fever just before her 14th birthday had damaged her mind, leaving her known to all as the village fool. Her birth mother had died in childbirth, leaving behind Muyao, 3 older brothers, and a pair of younger twin siblings. The household was now managed by her stepmother, Lu Yuru, reputed to be gentle, virtuous, and an excellent manager of the household affairs. Miss Yao, why are you spacing out? Lu Yuru sat on the edge of the bed, holding a medicine bowl, and gently touched Muyao's forehead. The fever has broken. That's good. Now drink your medicine. Su Muyao looked at the pitch-black liquid in the bowl and instinctively wrinkled her nose. But then a sudden realization dawned on her. Being a fool was great. A fool didn't have to learn tedious rules, manage household chores, or be forced into a political marriage. Her eyes lit up with a mischievous glint. Deliberately tilting her head, she reached out to slap the bowl. No drink, bitter. Before her hand could touch it, Lu Yuru gently caught it. All right, no medicine. How about we have a piece of candied fruit instead? So saying, she picked up a piece of golden orange candied fruit from a small dish nearby and popped it into Muyao's mouth. The sweet flavor melted on her tongue. Su Muyao squinted her eyes and revealed a silly, vacant smile. Just then, hurried footsteps echoed from outside the door, and a teenage boy dressed in a sapphire blue brocade robe burst in. Mother, has Yao's sister woken up? Let me tell you, I won Jiang the hunter's cricket today. It was absolutely incredible. He stopped mid-sentence upon seeing Su Miao on the bed. His eyes brightened, and he strode over, pulling an exquisite cricket container from his sleeve. Yao's sister, look! Second brother's new treasure. This was Su Mingxuan, the original host's second brother, 16 years old and a notorious playboy in Yangzhou City. Looking at the cricket container, a naughty idea sprouted in Su Miao's mind. She snatched the container, held it up, shook it, and suddenly upturned it onto the chamber pot beside the bed. Su Mingxuan's face turned green. He reached out to grab it back but feared hurting her, hopping from foot to foot in frustration. Su Miao, you put that down. That's my cricket pot. Lu Yuru shook her head helplessly, pulling Su Mingxuan back. Enough, it's just a pot. Miss Yao doesn't understand. Why are you fighting with her? Be careful not to scare her. Su Mingxuan felt terribly wronged, but had to swallow his grievance. He carefully retrieved the container from Su Miao's hand, muttering under his breath, You little fool, if you dare use my things as a chamber pot again, I won't buy you sweets anymore. Su Miao paid him no mind, grinning a foolish grin, but inwardly she was overjoyed. The blessings of being a fool were indeed well-deserved. Chapter 2. The Grand Feat at the Flower Viewing Banquet. Time flew by. Su Miao had been playing the fool in the Su household for nearly a month. During this time, she had thoroughly figured out her family's temperaments. Her father, Su Hongyuan, indulged her immensely. If she wanted something, even the moon from the sky, he would try to fetch it. The eldest brother, Xiao Jingyuan, was steady and reserved. Though quiet, he was exceptionally patient with her. No matter how much mischief she caused, he never got angry. Second brother, Su Mingxuan, had a sharp tongue but a soft heart, always saving the best things for her while complaining about her. Stepmother Lu Yuru doted on her as if she were her own daughter, meticulously attending to her clothing, food, living, and travel. Even the 7-year-old twins, Su Muqian and Su Muyan, gave way to their foolish elder sister in everything. One day, Lu Yuru was hosting a flower viewing banquet at the estate, inviting the ladies of Yangzhou City. Early in the morning, a maid dressed Su Muyao in a pink rucan dress, styled her hair in twin buns, and adorned them with 2 pink silk flowers. Sitting before the dressing table, Sumuyao looked at the exquisitely delicate girl in the bronze mirror and couldn't help but grin. The banquet was set in the peony pavilion in the rear garden. The pavilion was arranged with various pastries and tea, surrounded by prized peonies. Several way-purple peonies were in full, magnificent bloom, drawing frequent praise from the ladies. Sumuyao, led by Lu Yuru, sat on a small stool in the corner, holding a piece of osmanthus cake, munching away while curiously glancing around. The magistrate's wife admired the way-purple peonies and said with a smile, "Madame Su, you have truly raised these way-purple peonies splendidly. The ones in my home simply cannot compare." Lu Yuru responded with a modest smile, "You flatter me, madam. It's merely good fortune." At that moment, Sumuyao suddenly stood up, dashed to the front of the way-purple peony bushes, reached out and plucked the largest, most splendid bloom. Then, standing on tiptoe, she stuck the flower into her own hair bun. The entire gathering fell silent instantly. The magistrate's wife's face alternated between pale and flushed, clearly affronted. Lu Yuru quickly stepped forward, pulling Sumuyao to her side, and smiled apologetically at the magistrate's wife. "My sincerest apologies. Miss Yao's mind is not well. She doesn't know any better. Please don't take it to heart." She then gestured for a maid to take Sumuyao away. Led back to her room by the maid, Sumuyao still thought about the way-purple peony, reaching up to touch the flower in her hair and giggling foolishly. Not long after, Lu Yuru returned, not angry in the least. Instead, she brought a box filled with all kinds of silk flowers and placed it before Muyao. "Miss Yao likes flowers? Mother bought these for you. They're all the latest styles. From now on, don't pick the real flowers in the garden, all right?" Sumuyao looked at the box full of silk flowers and nodded vigorously, mumbling, "Mother, pretty." When Su Hongyuan returned that evening and heard of the incident, far from scolding Sumuyao, he laughed and said, "What's wrong with my Yaoer liking flowers? Tomorrow, I'll have someone buy a few more way-purple peonies from the flower market for Yaoer to play with." Hiding behind Lu Yuru, Sumuyao secretly stuck out her tongue. This family spoiled her far too much. Chapter 3. The White Fox Fur and Osmanthus Cake. Winter arrived, and the first snow fell in Yongzhou City. Sumuyao, who feared the cold, huddled on the soft couch in the warmed chamber, wrapped in a thick cotton-padded jacket and clutching a hand warmer, yet still shivering. Seeing her tremble, Lu Yuru's heart ached. She instructed the maids to stoke the charcoal braziers in the chamber warmer and brought Muyao a bowl of steaming ginger tea. "Miss Yao, drink some more ginger tea to warm up," Lu Yuru said, handing her the bowl. "Your second brother went hunting outside the city today. He said he'd hunt a fox to make a scarf for you." Sumuyao held the ginger tea, sipping it slowly, warmth spreading through her heart. She knew Su Mingshuan, playful as he was, always kept his promises to her. In the evening, Su Mingshuan indeed returned. Snow covered his clothes, his face was red from the cold, but in his arms he held a snow-white fox pelt. "Yao, sister, look what I brought you." He strode into the warm chamber and handed the pelt to Sumuyao. "This is the first white fox I've ever caught. We'll make a scarf for you, guaranteed to keep you warm." Sumuyao stroked the pelt. It was incredibly soft and warm. Looking up at Su Mingshuan's ears, purple from the cold, she felt a pang of emotion. She reached out and gently touched his ear. "Second brother, cold." Su Mingshuan was taken aback for a moment, then burst out laughing. "It's nothing, nothing. Second brother is tough, not afraid of the cold, as long as you like the fur." Just then, Xiao Jingyuan also walked in. He had just returned from the accounts room, holding a piece of osmanthus cake. "Yao Yao, come here," he beckoned. Sumuyao scrambled off the couch and ran to him. Xiao Jingyuan handed her the osmanthus cake, then gently ruffled her hair. "Did you cause any trouble in the accounts room today?" With her mouth full of cake, Sumuyao mumbled, "No." "Yao Yao, good." Xiao Jingyuan gave a helpless smile. The day before, Sumuyao had sneaked into the accounts room and, seizing an opportunity when he was distracted, snatched his abacus, randomly flicking the beads and messing up all his calculations. He had only sighed in resignation then, taken the abacus back from her, and given her an osmanthus cake to placate her. When Su Hongyuan returned and saw the harmonious scene in the warm chamber, a contented smile appeared on his face. He walked over, took out an oil paper package from his sleeve, and unwrapped it to reveal hot, sugar-fried chestnuts. Yower, father bought your favorite sugar-fried chestnuts. Try some. Sumuyao's eyes lit up and she reached for the chestnuts. Su Jingyuan quickly stopped her. They're hot. Let me peel them for you. He picked up a chestnut, carefully removed the shell, and fed it to her. Chewing the sweet chestnut, looking at her family around her, the initial fear and disorientation from first arriving here had long since vanished. Curled up on the soft couch, wrapped in the snowy white fox fur, with an osmanthus cake in her mouth, watching the snowflakes fall outside the window, she felt as if she were soaking in a honey jar, so sweet she might melt. Chapter 4. Eldest Brother's Abacus and Second Brother's Grudge. After spring arrived, Su Jingyuan became even busier, spending every day in the accounts room. Bored, Sumuliao often sneaked in. One day, she slipped into the accounts room again and saw Su Jingyuan clicking away on his abacus, the sound crisp and pleasant. She quietly walked behind him and, seizing a moment of inattention, grabbed the abacus, clutched it to her chest, and ran. Su Jingyuan shook his head helplessly and stood up to follow her. Yao Yao, give the abacus back to eldest brother. He still needs to do the accounts. Sumuliao ran into the courtyard, hid behind a crabapple tree with the abacus, and grinned foolishly at Su Jingyuan. Su Jingyuan walked over, squatted before her, and said patiently, Yao Yao, be good. The abacus isn't a toy. Give it back to eldest brother, all right? I'll buy you candy. Sumuliao thought for a moment, then handed over the abacus and stretched out her hand. Candy. Su Jingyuan smiled and nodded, pulling a piece of malt candy from his sleeve and placing it in her palm. Just then, Su Mingxuan came rushing over excitedly. Eldest brother, Yao sister, let me tell you, I won young Master Lai's horse today. That horse is amazing. He stopped short when he saw the malt candy in Sumuliao's hand. His eyes shifted and he leaned in. Yao sister, malt candy isn't tasty. How about second brother buys you a candied hawthorn stick? Give the malt candy to me. Sumuliao clenched the malt candy tightly and shook her head. No, Yao Yao's. Su Mingxuan didn't give up, continuing to coax. Candied hawthorn is much sweeter than malt candy, and it has hawthorn berries, sour and sweet, so delicious. Sumuliao still shook her head. Su Mingxuan had no choice but to sigh. Fine, fine. If you won't give it, then don't. Second brother will go buy you the candied hawthorn right now. When Su Mingxuan returned with the candied hawthorn stick, he saw Sumuliao sitting on a stone stool, holding the malt candy, with Su Jinyan's freshly calculated account book beside her. Su Mingxuan's eyes gleamed mischievously. He crept over and, taking advantage of Sumuliao's distraction, snatched the malt candy from her hand and shoved the candied hawthorn stick into it. Here, eat the candied hawthorn. Second brother will help you finish the malt candy. Sumuliao was stunned for a second. Looking at the candied hawthorn in her hand and the malt candy in Su Mingxuan's, her lips suddenly quivered and tears welled up and fell. Su Jingyuan hurried over, picked her up, and glared at Su Mingxuan. Can't you just let her have her way? Su Mingxuan panicked too and quickly offered the malt candy back. Yao sister, don't cry, don't cry. Here's your malt candy back. The candied hawthorn is yours too, all right? It's all yours. Sumuliao took the malt candy, looked at the candied hawthorn stick, smiled through her tears, and reached out to take that as well. Su Jingyuan shook his head in resignation. Su Mingxuan sighed in relief, swearing inwardly he would never dare snatch anything from this little fool again. Her crying was too terrifying. Chapter 5. The Twins' Little Secret. The Su family twins, Su Muqian and Su Muyan, though only 7 years old, were remarkably sensible. Su Muqian was steady like the eldest brother, Su Jinyan, while Su Muyan was lively like the second brother, Su Mingxuan. Both adored their foolish elder sister and always thought of her first when they had something tasty or fun. One day, Su Muyan secretly slipped into Su Muyao's room. Pulling a cloth bundle from her sleeve, she said mysteriously, Sister, look what good thing I brought you. Su Muyao curiously leaned over as Su Muyan opened the bundle, revealing several brightly colored glass marbles. I've been saving these marbles for a long time. They're so pretty. I'm giving them to you, sister. Su Muyan placed the marbles in Su Muyao's hand. Su Muyao held the marbles up to the sunlight. They were indeed beautiful. She smiled and said, Pretty. Thank you, sister. Su Muyan said proudly, I won them from Fatty next door. He even cried. Just then, Su Muqian also walked in, holding a picture book. Sister, shall I tell you a story? Sumuyao nodded, sitting on the edge of the bed. Sumuqian sat beside her, opened the picture book, and began to tell the story seriously. Sumuyan, meanwhile, performed magic tricks with the marbles for Sumuyao. The three children played happily, the room filled with laughter and joy. During dinner that evening, Sumuyan suddenly announced, "Father, Mother, I gave my glass marbles to elder sister today." Su Hongyuan smiled. Our Yanar is so good, knowing how to care for her sister. Lu Yuru also smiled. Our Yanar is a good child. Sumuqian added, I told elder sister the story of the three little pigs today. She listened very attentively. Hearing this, Su Mingxuan leaned over. What marbles? What story? Second brother wants to see too, wants to hear too. Sumuyan pouted. I won't show you. I gave them to elder sister. Su Mingxuan pretended to be angry. Humph, fine, don't show me. Second brother will go buy his own, a whole bunch. Su Jingyuan shook his head resignedly. All right, enough. Let's eat before the dishes get cold. After the meal, Sumuyao returned to her room. Looking at the marbles in her hand and remembering the story Sumuqian told, warmth filled her heart. She knew that these twins, young as they were, genuinely cared for her. Lying in bed, hugging the plush toy Su Mingxuan had given her, a smile on her lips, she slowly drifted into sleep. Chapter 6. A minor stir on the street. The weather was fine one day, and Lu Yuru planned to take Sumuyao and the twins shopping. Upon hearing this, Su Mingxuan clamored to go too. Mother, I'm coming. I'll protect you all. Lu Yuru had no choice but to bring him along. The group made quite a procession as they arrived on the bustling street, alive with the cacophony of vendors' cries. Sumuyao looked around eagerly, finding everything novel. Suddenly, she spotted a stall selling sugar paintings and her eyes lit up. Breaking free from Lu Yuru's hand, she hurried over. Sugar painting. Pretty, she said excitedly, pointing at the sugar paintings on display. Lu Yuru quickly followed and said to the vendor with a smile, Please make us a rabbit sugar painting. Just as the vendor was about to start, a richly dressed young master from a wealthy family nearby spoke up. Hey, I want that rabbit sugar painting. How much? The vendor looked troubled. Young master, this lady ordered it first. The wealthy young man glanced disdainfully at Lu Yuru. It's just a sugar painting. I'll pay double. Su Mingxuan couldn't stand it anymore. He stepped forward, pointing at the young master. What's wrong with you? Don't you understand first come, first served? The young master sneered. What are you? How dare you interfere with my business? Do you know who I am? My father is the Vice Minister of Revenue. Su Mingxuan wasn't intimidated. Vice Minister of Revenue, so what? In Yangzhou City, you can't just act recklessly. The two argued more and more heatedly, on the verge of coming to blows. Lu Yuru quickly pulled Su Mingxuan back. Mingxuan, don't be impulsive. Then she said to the young master, Young master, it's merely a sugar painting. Why be so particular? We'll yield it to you. Sumuyao was unhappy, tugging at Lu Yuru's sleeve. Mother, Yao Yao wants. At that moment, Su Jingyuan appeared as if from nowhere. He had been on his way to the shop to check accounts and had noticed the commotion. He walked to Lu Yuru's side and cupped his hands respectfully towards the young master. Young master, I am Su Jingyuan. My younger brother is impetuous. I beg your forgiveness. However, this sugar painting was indeed ordered by my mother first. I hope you won't make things difficult for the vendor. The young master had heard of Su Jingyuan's name and knew the Su family's influence in Yangzhou City. Not daring to be too overbearing, he simply snorted coldly. Fine. Considering young Master Su's face, I won't argue with you. With that, he turned and left. The vendor sighed in relief and quickly made a rabbit sugar painting for Su Muyao. Clutching the sugar painting, Su Muyao happily clapped her hands and giggled foolishly. Su Mingxuan was still fuming. What kind of person thinks he's special just because his father's an official? Su Jingyuan patted his shoulder. All right, don't be angry, as long as Yao Yao got her sugar painting. The group continued their stroll. Su Muyao held her sugar painting, the sweet taste in her mouth, watching the lively street scene, thinking how wonderful such days were. Chapter 7. The Stepmother's Tenderness. Lately, Su Muyao had been having frequent nightmares, often waking up crying at night. One evening, she woke from a nightmare again, trembling all over, tears streaming uncontrollably. A maid, hearing the noise, rushed in. Miss, what's wrong? Su Muyao hugged her quilt. just crying, unable to speak. The maid had no choice but to quickly report to Lu Yuru. Upon hearing the news, Lu Yuru immediately threw on a robe and hurried over. She walked to the bedside, gently gathered Sumu Yao into her arms, and patted her back softly. "Miss Yao, don't be afraid. Mother is here. It's all right now." In Lu Yuru's embrace, smelling the faint scent of face powder on her, Sumu Yao's heart gradually calmed. Lu Yuru hummed a tuneless melody, gently rocking her as if soothing an infant. Sumu Yao closed her eyes, listening to Lu Yuru's tender humming, slowly relaxing. After a while, Sumu Yao fell asleep. Lu Yuru carefully laid her back on the bed, tucked her in, sat by the bedside, watching her for a moment to ensure she was sleeping peacefully, then quietly rose and left. Returning to her own room, she found Sumuqian and Sumuyan still awake, waiting for her. "Mother, is elder sister all right now?" Sumuyan asked worriedly. Lu Yuru stroked her head. "She's fine, asleep now. You two should sleep too." The next morning, when Sumu Yao awoke, she saw a protective talisman placed by her pillow. The maid told her that Lu Yuru had gone to a temple outside the city early that morning to obtain it, saying it would safeguard her peace and prevent nightmares. Sumu Yao picked up the talisman, warmth filling her heart. She knew that although Lu Yuru was her stepmother, her care and affection were no less than that of a birth mother. During the meal, Sumu Yao walked to Lu Yuru's side, held up the talisman, and grinned foolishly. "Mother, safe." Lu Yuru looked at her and smiled tenderly. "Yes, with this protective talisman, Miss Yao won't have nightmares anymore." Su Hongyuan watched the scene, his expression content. "Yuru, you've worked hard." Lu Yuru shook her head. "It's no trouble. Miss Yao is my daughter. It's only right that I care for her." Sumu Yao sat beside Lu Yuru, eating heartily, vowing inwardly, from now on she would play the fool well, enjoy this doting thoroughly, and treat this gentle stepmother well in return. Chapter 8. Summer's Cool Refreshment. Summer arrived, and the weather grew increasingly hot. Sumu Yao, who disliked the heat, stayed in her room all day, reluctant to go out. Lu Yuru had several ice basins placed in her courtyard and had the maids prepare various chilled pastries and drinks for her. Su Mingshuan went swimming in the river outside the city every day, always bringing back fresh lotus seed pods and lotus blossoms for Sumu Yao. One day, Su Jingyuan returned from the shop carrying an exquisite ice container holding a frozen milk dessert. "Yao Yao, come have some ice cream." He placed the container on the table, opened the lid, and a wave of cool air wafted out. Sumu Yao hurried over. Looking at the creamy white dessert inside, her eyes sparkled. Su Jingyuan picked up a spoon, scooped some, and fed it to her. Sumu Yao tasted it, icy, sweet, and delicious. She nodded, mumbling, "Tasty, more." Su Jingyuan smiled and fed her a few more spoonfuls. Su Mingshuan returned from outside, saw the dessert, and also leaned in. "Eldest brother, I want some too." Su Jingyuan shook his head helplessly and gave him a spoon. "Help yourself." Su Mingshuan had just taken a bite when he saw Sumu Yao watching him eagerly. His heart softened, and he pushed his bowl towards her. "Yao sister, you have it. Second brother isn't hungry." Sumu Yao shook her head and pushed her bowl towards him. "Second brother, together." Su Mingshuan laughed, picked up his spoon, and started eating with Sumu Yao. In the afternoon, Sumu Qian and Sumu Yan ran into Sumu Yao's courtyard, holding homemade hand fans. "Sister, we'll fan you," Sumu Yan said, immediately fanning Sumu Yao with her little fan. Sumu Qian sat beside her and began telling summer-themed stories. Sumu Yao lay on the soft couch, cooled by the little fan, eating the frozen dessert, listening to stories, and decided summer wasn't so unbearable after all. Looking at her family around her, her heart brimmed with happiness. She knew that whether it was winter or summer, sunny or rainy, as long as her family was by her side, she would always be the happiest fool. Chapter 9. The Surprise at the Birthday Banquet. Soon, it was Sumu Yao's 15th birthday. Su Hongyuan had long since ordered a grand birthday banquet, inviting friends and family from Yangzhou City. Lu Yuru was also busy preparing new clothes and jewelry for Mu Yao. On the day of the banquet, the Su residence was decorated with lanterns and streamers, bustling with activity. Su Mu Yao wore a bright red rucan dress and exquisite hair ornaments, looking like a little fairy. Guests praised her beauty upon seeing her, and Su Hongyuan and Lu Yuru wore proud smiles. After the banquet began, Su Mingxuan was the first to stand up, holding an exquisite box. Yao sister, this is second brother's birthday gift for you. Su Muyao opened the box to find a small, delicate jade rabbit, exquisitely carved and lifelike. Do you like it? I specially asked a master jade carver to make it, Su Mingxuan said proudly. Su Muyao nodded, hugging the jade rabbit with a silly grin. Next, Su Jingyuan also presented a box. Inside was an album filled with drawings of Su Muyao in various moments, eating osmanthus cake, playing with marbles, even sleeping. Eldest brother drew these. Does Yao Yao like them? Su Jingyuan asked gently. Looking at the album, tears glistened in Su Muyao's eyes. She nodded vigorously. Thank you, eldest brother. Su Muyuan and Su Muyuan also presented their gifts, drawings they had made themselves, depicting the happy family of 7. Lu Yuru gave Su Muyao a set of fine jewelry and a magnificent brocade gown. Finally, Su Hongyuan stepped forward and handed her a heavy box containing a stack of silver notes and a jade pendant. Yaoer, this is father's birthday gift for you. From now on, buy whatever you want. Don't stand on ceremony with father. Looking at the table full of gifts and her beaming family around her, Su Muyao suddenly felt a sting in her nose and tears fell. These were not tears of sadness, but of overwhelming happiness. She knew these gifts were filled with her family's boundless love for her. Lu Yuru quickly came over to wipe her tears. Miss Yao, why are you crying? Don't you like the gifts? Su Muyao shook her head, choking up. Thank father, thank mother, thank eldest brother, second brother, thank brother, sister. It was the most complete sentence she had spoken since arriving here. The whole family was stunned, then their faces broke into joyful, surprised smiles. Su Mingxuan exclaimed excitedly, Yao sister, you can speak. You're not a fool anymore. Su Jingyuan also looked at her excitedly, his eyes full of relief. Su Hongyuan laughed heartily. Good, my Yaoer is better. Seeing her family's delighted expressions, Su Muyao's heart also sang with joy. She knew that from today onward, she no longer needed to play the fool, but she believed her family's love for her would never change. Chapter 10. An Eternal Blessing. The news of Su Muyao's return to normalcy quickly spread throughout Yongzhou City, and everyone was happy for her. From then on, she no longer needed to pretend. She could openly interact with her family. She began learning etiquette, household management, reading, and writing. Su Jingyuan personally taught her to read. Su Mingxuan accompanied her practicing horse riding. Liu Yuru instructed her in needlework and household management, and Su Hongyuan often discussed business matters with her. Su Muyao learned quickly and soon became a knowledgeable, sensible, intelligent, and capable young lady. But her family's doting did not diminish in the slightest. They still treated her like a little princess. Su Mingxuan still saved the best things for her. Su Jingyuan still patiently taught her all sorts of things. Lu Yuru still prepared her favorite snacks. Su Hongyuan still satisfied her every request. Su Muqian and Su Muyan still clung to her for stories. One day, Su Muyao went with Su Jingyuan to the shop to check accounts. On the way, Su Jingyuan suddenly said, Yao, do you remember when you first woke up and snatched my abacus? Su Muyao smiled and nodded. I remember. I was still a fool then. Su Jingyuan also smiled. Actually, I knew early on you weren't really a fool. Su Muyao was taken aback. How did eldest brother know? Because the look in your eyes wasn't that of a fool, Su Jingyuan said gently. Back then, I thought, whether you were truly foolish or not, I would always cherish you. Warmth filled Su Muyao's heart. She linked her arm with Su Jingyuan's. Eldest brother, thank you. Returning home, they found Su Mingxuan practicing archery in the courtyard. Seeing them return, he hurried over. Yao sister, eldest brother, you're back. I hit the bullseye 10 times today. Impressive, right? Su Muyao smiled. Impressive. Second brother is the best. Su Mingxuan lifted his chin proudly. Of course, if anyone dares bully you in the future, second brother will shoot an arrow through their knee. Lu Yuru walked out of the house, smiling. All right, enough boasting. Come in and eat. I made your favorite braised fish today. Su Mingxuan's eyes lit up, and he hurried inside. Watching her lively, bustling family, Su Muyao's heart overflowed with happiness. She knew that whether she was foolish Su Muyao or normal Su Muyao, she was the happiest person in this family. This blessing wasn't because she had pretended to be a fool. It was because she had a family who loved her. She would cherish this blessing forever and love her family always. The setting sun cast golden light over the Su family courtyard, bathing everyone's faces in a warm, beautiful glow. A happy smile graced Sumuyao's lips. She knew her blessed life would continue like this, never ending.